All right, I am back in Chicago this week, and in my garage is the Fiat 500e. So this is an all-electric vehicle from Fiat, and as you can tell, this has to be a near-perfect city-sized vehicle. So what I'm going to do in this video is I want to walk you through some of the details of the Fiat 500e. Then I'm going to talk about the things that I like and the things that I don't like. And I'm going to tell you if I think this would work in my life as a city dweller. So let's take a closer look at this week's car du jour, the Fiat 500e. Now I am going to pull this out of my garage to do a full walk around, but since we're here and this is here and my tripod's there, I figured we'd just start with a quick look at the cargo area, because even though this is a very, very compact vehicle, you do have a decent amount of space for some things in the back here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is going to be a people or things kind of situation. If you're going to have rear seat passengers, you're not going to be able to fit all of their stuff back here. However, if you want to fold these seats down, you are going to have the opportunity to fit a little bit more stuff back here. There isn't a flat load floor, not a flat load floor when you put the seats down, but you can fit some things that are going to be a little bit bigger. For size proportion, because you know how much I love to climb into trunks of vehicles, this is what you're looking at. So not going to fit a golf bag, I'll be honest with you. Maybe he'll fit my junior clubs back here, but my husband's full-size clubs, unless you put these seats down, not going to fit. This is just a short space. But, I mean, two people taking a road trip, I think you could fit two rollerboards back here. I think you could fit some backpacks back here. I mean, I don't think you're going to have a problem, two people, road trip. Let's see if I can just kind of, pull this back up without having to open the doors. Whew. So there you go. That's just a quick look at the cargo area. It's not huge, but for a city dwelling vehicle, and by the way, you're probably not taking a road trip in this. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for a city dwelling vehicle, I think this is enough. This is enough. All right, let's pull it out and take a look at what's going on. Since we're pulling out of the garage, I figured I would take the opportunity to look at the cameras. Why waste an opportunity? Okay, so you do have push button gearing here, so I'm going to put it into drive. And the camera does not come on because, this is not an around view camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull out a little bit and then we'll back it back up just so you can see. So the camera is a little bit small. You do have dynamic guidelines, which I appreciate. And as you are getting close to things, I don't know if you can see it, but in the behind the wheel cluster, in addition to that annoying audible sound that I think you can turn off, there is actually, like, it's showing yellow that I'm close to something. And then, as I get close to something, it will turn red or whatever. So you do have an around the vehicle sensor in the behind the wheel cluster, but you do not have an around view monitor. And obviously, as soon as you put it into drive, the camera goes away. Since we are driving through my alley and heading out to find a nice bright spot to film, I will also point out that I have a really good driving position here. I feel far enough away from the steering wheel. I feel like I can see out of all of the windows, and I just generally have a good upright view of what's going on around me. Somebody cutting through the alley, which they shouldn't do. But again, that's why this is such a great vehicle. It's very easy to maneuver. All right, so we're just going to jump right in with a quick walk around of the exterior of the vehicle. And the front, obviously, is punctuated by this 500 badging on the grille. That's not a grille because it doesn't need a grille because this is an electric vehicle. So coming around to the side, you see some nice finishing touches. You've got the little Italian flag there. You have these jewel-like wheels covers. I think this is really attractive. I actually compared this to a piece of jewelry. Like this is something I would like to see on a necklace. I think it looks really cool. But the shape is going to be recognizable. This is classic 500 styling, you know, compact, subcompact, super subcompact in terms of the size of the vehicle. The back seat is going to be minimal. Plenty of room for the front passengers though. But my husband, when he was sitting in the front passenger seat, did make a joke about feeling like the guy in Police Academy, I think he said Hightower, who had to rip out the front seat and sat in the back seat to drive. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So coming around to the back, you also have this 500E badging there, and you've got the La Prima 500E badging on the side there. And this paint is called rose gold. I mean, I really like it, but it's probably a little bit girly. It's probably a little bit girly. I've been wearing a lot of pink this week, trying to get into the mood and stay with the theme of the vehicle. So coming inside, I will point out you do have, it's like a little, it's like a little touchpad right here that opens the door. And similarly, when you're sitting in the vehicle, this is your digital latch to open the door. So you have some really nice stitching here, and it took me a while the first time I drove this to realize that this is saying Fiat, 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 Fiat. I just thought it was a really cool pattern, but yeah, no, it's actually spelling the word Fiat. Pay attention, Ciminillo, I know. All right, sitting behind the wheel, I will pop this out. To start it, you obviously have to put your foot on the brake pedal. You have the start button right here. And it says the vehicle is ready to drive. Now, one of the interesting things that I noticed when I was driving, if you see in the upper right hand corner the word that says Sherpa, I just thought that was cute. Like it was the name of the car. No. That is actually a drive mode. So when you go through the drive modes, you have normal, you have range, and you have Sherpa. And what I discovered is when you go into Sherpa on the highway, you can't go over about 45 to 50 miles an hour. And I didn't realize that when I first drove it, and I'm on the highway and I'm like, oh, I thought something was wrong with the vehicle because I was not able to get up to the speed limit. But then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, maybe I'm just gonna play around with the drive mode, see if I can get some kind of a sport mode or something going on that will allow me to go a little faster. And obviously when I put it into range, it allowed me to get up to speed. So the point of the drive modes, you know, and I keep it in Sherpa most of the time when I'm driving around the city because I'm not going to go over 45 miles an hour. And what that does is it actually turns off your HVAC system. So that's off right now. I can turn it on, but it's just trying to limit the amount of juice you're using because I don't know if you noticed right here. Yeah, I'm at 100% and I only have 160 miles of range. The press materials on this vehicle say that the Fiat 500e can get up to 147 miles of range, but that's going to be obviously, you know, in Sherpa, you're going to have to do all of the fuel efficiency things to make sure you're getting the best range possible because, yeah, 160 is really, really low. That's like first gen Nissan Leaf range right there. So this is definitely a city vehicle, and you know what? I'm not going to talk too much about range right now because I'm going to get into that in a minute, but 160 miles of range, Sherpa mode. So I just, yeah, took me a minute. Moving over to the infotainment system, you do have wireless Apple CarPlay. So, yep, wireless Apple CarPlay. And it fills out the screen nicely. I wish the icons were a little bit bigger because I did notice that when I was driving, I found myself kind of going like this so I didn't miss the icons to kind of stabilize my hand as I was trying to press things. And that can be a little bit distracting. So I think it looks nice. I think it fills out the screen okay, but there's a lot of unused space here, so maybe bigger icons. Yeah, bigger icons. But you do have hard controls for your HVAC controls, and you do have a volume control down here. So no tuning knob, but you do have a volume knob, and that is helpful. So on the steering wheel, you have your adaptive cruise control right here, and I found that it works really well. And what's really interesting is if you have it in Sherpa mode and you set your cruise control at 55 miles an hour, it will override the 50-mile-an-hour limit, and it will take you up to the speed that you've set your cruise control at. So take that for whatever it's worth. In terms of the details of the interior, I like this kind of basket weave pattern you've got on the dash. I think that is a nice material option that isn't going to be too expensive, but it looks really nice. Plus, instead of using black lacquer, hey, look at this. You have this gray kind of shiny material, and I like this better because it's going to hide the scratches, it's going to hide the dust, it's going to hide the dirt, and I think it's going to even hide the fingerprints. Not that you're really going to be touching this stuff very much because it's not in a high-touch area. So I like the fact that they did not use black lacquer here. So that is really well done. I'm also really appreciating some of the details and, kind of hidden Easter eggs that you've got in here. So this, you have a little older Fiat 500 in here, and it says made in Torino, and then you have a city skyline in here, and I feel like that could be Torino. I don't think it's Rome, but it's obviously this is made in Italy, so there's going to be some cute little Easter eggs surrounding the vehicle, and I really like that. Now, all right, let's look at this back seat. This is kind of a sad back seat that maybe I could fit into. So you know what? Okay, so door latch here. You press that, push this open, and let's just this is my driving position, by the way. So obviously there's going to be leg room behind me, but this was how my husband had been sitting in the vehicle. So let's see. I'm gonna pull the door behind me as I get in, and we'll. So if you pull the seat all the way back, your knees are gonna touch. This is not gonna be a seating space for an adult back here, unless they're a very small adult or they don't get claustrophobic, because this is just all around going to be a little bit tight. Yeah. I think I need to get out of here. But pointing this out, these seats are going to be manual seats. So, you don't have any power adjustment. You don't have memory seats going on. But you do have like a little bar right here that you're going to pull to move the seats forward and back. And then you have this for pumping the seat up. All right, it is time for me to get into the things that I like and the things that I don't like. And normally I would number them and give you 5 good things and 5 bad things, but I'll be honest with you, the things that I like on the Fiat 500e far outnumber the things that I don't like, so I'm not going to number them. I'm just going to dig right in, and I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like. And the first thing I really like about this vehicle is its compact size and how it handles in a city environment. I have literally had a blast driving this vehicle this week. From zipping in and out of city traffic to going down those narrow city streets and knowing, I'm not going to have a problem. I can pass, parked cars and traffic without needing to pull over and hug the side. So this is a really, really great city-sized vehicle. And it does just incredibly well in a city environment. I went out to the suburbs a couple times while driving this vehicle. It handles really well on the highway, even though it's really small. I didn't feel like I was driving a smart car. I didn't feel like I was so far below all of the other cars on the road. So I mean, you have kind of a higher sit height, so it feels like you're eye level with the other vehicles on the road. So you don't feel, I mean, until you look in the rear view mirror, you don't feel like you're driving a vehicle that's that much smaller than all the other vehicles out there. But it's very maneuverable, it's zippy, it's fast, it's fun to drive. I thoroughly enjoyed this vehicle. So, ride and handling, driving it, just, yeah, that's going to top my like list. So I'm going to turn around. We're going to talk about some of the other things I really like. I feel like this is a really well-designed dash and cluster. I like how close the screen is. It's easy to touch, and which is great because this is a touch screen. I like that your charging tray for your phone is right here. So again, easy access, and it's visible, so you're not going to forget it when you leave the vehicle, probably. I like the simplicity of the gauges here. I don't need a lot of information, frankly. I need to know how fast I'm going, and I need to know how much battery life I've got left. And all of that information is very, very visible and obvious. So I really like that. I like the wireless Apple CarPlay. I do wish that, the icons were a little bit bigger, but I like how it appears with a side menu here, so you can easily get out of and back into Apple CarPlay without too much difficulty. You don't have to hit this Uconnect screen, or icon if you want to go into the native navigation or, some of your vehicle controls. So I like that. To me, this is really good Apple CarPlay integration. I just want the icons to be a little bit bigger. I like the material usage on the Fiat 500e, from, this leatherette material to the stitching on the seats and on the door panels. I like this basket weave pattern. Thank God, no black lacquer. I like this gray stuff. And, I know some people don't like push button gearing, but this doesn't bother me. This is not a thing that I would put on either my like or my do not like list. It just is, and it's something that you have to get used to. I like the extra storage that you've got right here. So if you have a purse, not a big purse, but if you have a little purse, you can set it right here pretty easily. Your cup holder is down here. And you have another little open kind of storage space right here to put some little things. And you have your USB ports. So, for as compact as this is, I feel like it's pretty well laid out and pretty well designed. I like it. I like it. Now it's time to switch gears. And as I said, there really isn't that much that I don't like about the Fiat 500e, but this is going to be one of them. I rarely have just one beverage in a vehicle at the time. I usually have a coffee or a tea and a water bottle and my Yeti, and you just have a single cup holder up front. And so that's great if you're the only person in the car, but as soon as you add one person or another beverage, it creates a little bit of difficulty. And I mean, you do have a bottle holder in the door, but it's just not very wide. So you could fit like a 16-ounce plastic bottle of water, but a Yeti is not really going to fit in there. So what I ended up doing is just kind of setting my Yeti in here, and then I put my coffee in there because that I don't want to spill. This has a screw top. So that is just a little bit of a ding. Not a huge deal. I mean, let's be honest, you're probably not going to be carrying passengers too much if you're driving this vehicle. Now, the other thing that I didn't like is, this right here. I drove out to the suburbs, and 45 minutes into my return trip, this overheated my phone. So it didn't power down the system, so I still had access to Apple CarPlay and my podcasts and all that kind of stuff, but it stopped charging my phone. So if my phone were at a low state of charge and I were trying to do all of the things, that would be problematic. So, I mean, good news is there is a USB-A charge port right here, so I could just kind of like tilt my phone out of this and then plug it in and just kind of set it here so I could charge and then use the wireless CarPlay at the same time. But if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, if you are going to put wireless charging in a vehicle, make it work. If you're not going to make it work, don't spend the money. Don't do it. And I know you probably expect me to talk about the range and the fact that that is really low and maybe put that on my do not like list, but you know what? I'm not going to do it. Really, the only two things that I don't like about this are the charger and the cup holder situation. That's it. And now I'm going to tell you why the range doesn't bother me. Now, I ding a lot of vehicles because of range. And when a vehicle gives you like 200 miles of range, I feel like that is kind of silly because they expect you to drive that car more than just around the city, especially if you have, 2 rows, 3 rows, whatever, an actual usable space in the back seat. They are expecting you to drive that vehicle. When you look at something like this, however, such a compact, petite vehicle, I feel like the Fiat 500e is really just meant to be an urban vehicle. This is meant exactly for somebody like me in most instances. My gym is 2 miles away. One of my best friends lives out in the suburbs. That's like a 15-mile drive. I go out and I do a radio show every Monday. That's a 22-mile drive. I am never going to touch the range. Yesterday, I drove out to do the radio show, 22 miles, and I came home, I plugged it in, and you want to know what? I came out to the car this morning, and it was charged at 100%. And that was just plugging in to a 110-volt jack. So I could see having this vehicle and not even needing to buy an external charger because you're not going to be driving that much and you're just going to be plugging it into, your wall outlet. Now, if you ever did need to go some distance and you don't have a second car, this is not the vehicle for you. It's just not. I'll be honest, I got this vehicle on a Thursday and I was supposed to drive to my mom's house on Saturday, and that is 200 miles to Indianapolis, 200 miles back, 150, 160 miles of range. I'm going to have to stop. And maybe I will make it to the charging station in Lafayette, Indiana, but maybe I won't because that's like 160 miles away. So we took our car. We did not drive this car to Indianapolis because that is not the point of this vehicle. So if you are somebody who has a gas vehicle and you're looking for an around town electric vehicle, this is 100% something you should be thinking about. I think this is a great urban vehicle. I think it has a decent amount of range for a city environment. And as long as you have that backup plan to go the distance, or if you are going to need to drive more, or if you do a lot of winter driving. But I told you at the beginning that I would tell you whether or not I think this could fit into my lifestyle, and the answer is yes. I love how this looks. I love the petite size, and what I decided was this would be a great vehicle for me if my husband and I had a second vehicle. So we have a Golf GTI, and that is my husband's primary driver. And what I could see happening is, okay, I'm driving this around town, radio station, visiting friends in the suburbs, going to the gym. But on that weekend that I need to go and visit my mom in Indianapolis, A, either goes with me and we take, our car, or B, we swap cars. It's that simple. Okay, so maybe we wouldn't have a pink one if we were going to be swapping cars on the regular, but I personally really love this rose gold color. So, do I think this could fit into my life? 100% yes. And I think it could fit into a lot of people's lives. It just takes a little bit of rethinking on how you are using your vehicle. All right, in case you missed it, I really like this vehicle. This is a purpose-built vehicle for a very specific scenario. Just like a heavy-duty truck is a purpose-built vehicle for a specific scenario. Can the heavy-duty truck and the Fiat 500e do different things that it's not meant to do? Yeah, but like a truck is going to be hard to park in the city, this vehicle is going to be hard to take long distance. Can it be done? yes, it's just going to require a little bit of premeditation and planning. And that is what I want to say about that. So I think that is all I have for you this week on the Fiat 500e. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with a new car du jour.